All right, so I think we can get started. We've got a good amount of participants here, and we have a lot that we want to walk you all through. So in the interest of time, we're going to get started. Take care of some of the nuts and bolts as people are tuning in. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Again, this is PBL in a virtual world, the Ideation workshop. I'm going to be one of your facilitators. My name is Chris Olivas. I'm an 8th grade math and science teacher at our North County village of High Tech High.
I'll go next. My name's Julia Jacobson. I'm a project coach up in North County at High Tech Middle. And I also work on the professional learning team at High Tech High's Graduate School of Education as a professional learning coordinator.
Go ahead. So I'm Carrie Lawrence, and I teach 8th grade science at High Tech Middle.
My name is Adam Coe. I'll also help out facilitating 7th grade math science down in Chula Vista.
All right, so I'm going to go over the agenda for today. So we have a couple of just norms that we want to go over in a few moments. But a big chunk of this workshop is going to be pretty interactive. So we have a little bit of some philosophy that we're going to go over as far as ideation goes with project-based learning and how we do things at High Tech High across our organization. There's a couple of things that we send out as pre-readings. We'll kind of recap for you guys. And then we're going to move on into some kind of benchmarks and how to frame a project idea, what we're looking for when we're coming up with project ideas. And then we're actually going to be doing some breakout rooms, some pretty awesome collaboration process we have for you. And then we're going to come back together and do some feedback on everyone's ideation. And then we actually have a closing with an exit card. We appreciate some feedback from you guys. And we actually do have some homework. The idea of this whole PBL Academy, just like as if it was done in person, is to grow and walk away with some tangible stuff, some tangible things that you can use in your classroom or, I guess, online in the end. So it's going to end with POLs on Friday. So we do have some homework for you guys to engage in. So we'll give you more details about that at the end.
All right, so whether you've been on Zoom calls for a million times or this is your first one, just some norms to keep us going forward. If you can remain on mute, that would be great. It just helps with the presentation. Also, we will use the chat, so if you have any questions, that would be the great place to ask us or just to share information. Also, things like if you can, things like nodding or like a thumbs up or one of those clap signs, reactions is helpful. And if it's possible, just remain on video. We can all use some human connection right now.
One final thing too before we dive into the whole process, just so you know, we are going to be sending out this slide deck to everybody. It is interactive, and it's also going to be kind of like the hub of a lot of the materials that we're going to share with you. It's already got a lot of the pre-reading things, hyperlinks, but I think the gold of this workshop is going to be everyone's ideas that they come up with as far as projects. So just like we would in the forum, have posters with people's post-its and ideas all over them, we will make this available to everyone after the workshop. We just can't have everyone on there right now because it would kind of bog down and slow down the whole process. So just bear with us, but know that at the very end, this is going to be shared out with everyone, and I believe probably the recording of this is as well. So just know that this is being recorded. Okay, so we can get started. So in all of our projects that we plan at High Tech High, we always like to start with an essential question. So an essential question is kind of like the driver of a project. What's the point? What's the big deal? How do we want students to learn through the experience of a project? So an essential question is usually something that isn't just a yes or no. It's usually something that's a little deeper, that can incorporate several ideas in it, and I hopefully lead just to more questions. So our essential question that we're going to address today is, how might we design equitable PBL experiences in which distance learning is a strength? So we really want to focus on equity and this idea that we can try to use distance learning or learning at home as a strength, as an asset. So I was really, I mean, this was new to me, obviously, like all of us, most of us, I would say. I'm sure there's some people who've done some online learning before, but when my staff was starting to tackle this idea of distance learning, our director shared with us a really great article, and I believe she has a webinar as well, written by Alex Shervin-Bennett. And she wrote this article called "The 4 Core Priorities for Trauma-Informed Distance Learning." And those 4 priorities are, she claims, are predictability, flexibility, connection, and empowerment. And here's a quote from this article in the empowerment section. "Now more than ever, kids don't need to be doing fake work. They don't need to be doing worksheets. Give them problems to solve, ask what they're interested in. There's so much data coming out right now for them to be working with. There's so many stories coming out. Give them the tools to think about how I'm affecting the world around me." And that's kind of what we're hoping we can do for our kids in this unique time, is give them projects that can allow them to feel empowered, to make connections that are flexible, and just a sense of predictability, some normalcy and routine in their day. So we're going to hopefully be doing those as we come up with our ideas for projects. But ideation is kind of a learned practice. It's actually something that needs to be very thoughtful in how it's done. So we have a little bit more information to share with you about that. So I'm going to toss it on over to Julia.
Thanks, Chris. So I wanted to share a little bit about what research has shown about how good ideas come about to begin with. So this data comes from a study where a team collected information about the entire process within a toy design company, and in their whole process, 2 or 3 of their ideas actually went to market. But in the beginning, they brainstormed over 4,000 ideas for toys that they might create. And of those, only 230 were promising enough to draw or prototype. And of those, they only sold 12 ideas to manufacturers. And manufacturers only produced a couple of them. So something that is of note, I think, is as teachers, we are often in more of like a 1-to-1 ratio of like coming up with an idea and trying it in our classrooms. We have this like urgency of having students in front of us every single day that forces us to kind of like stay on this, doesn't allow us to have as much space for ideation as might be ideal. And so we have a little bit of a pause right now where we get some time and space to come up with more ideas. And there's something, as teachers, because we're often in this kind of like execution mode, designing and teaching all the time, we need to be conscious about the mindset that we take into an ideation space. So I want every participant to kind of like be mindful today about the mindset that you're taking into this brainstorming time. We're reserving judgment right now. We're just trying to come up with lots and lots of ideas, and know that there will be a time in the future where we can come back to these ideas and sort them out. Just saying an idea is not a commitment to do this project. And so we also want to like create a space that celebrates that ideation. So we're not judging other people's ideas either. We're just trying to create together and come up with as many as we can. At the end of this session, your homework is going to be starting to move more into that other mind space. And so we'll talk about that more there. But for now, I just want to name that we are setting up with a norm of creating lots of ideas and reserving judgment.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, and we are going to leverage the fact that we are a diverse group all around California and across the pond. Thank you. So Harvard Business Review put out an article just explaining why, in their study, diverse teams are smarter. Here's a few excerpts from that. On the top left says diverse teams are more likely to constantly re-examine facts and remain objective. So, like Julia said, we're going to be in breakout rooms randomly assigned, and we just appreciate the fact that you just give it a try, and we're not here to judge. We're just here to kind of learn and build off of each other.
Oop, Chris, you're on mute.
Back to the business at hand. How might we design equitable PBL experiences in which distance learning is a strength? So when we are connecting ideation workshops and coming up with ideas for projects ourselves, we try to be as specific as possible in addressing this question while also not stifling our own creativity or ideas, like Julia was saying. So just as we move on into ideating, please try, when you are coming up with ideas, to think of a thing or something that kids can do and try to attach it to someone or to a purpose with that. So what can students make, build, or do to make a difference? For what purpose or for who? So for example, we're going to share a few projects that have been done in the past at High Tech High, and some ones that we kind of remixed here just while we were planning for this. So create custom video game controllers for people with physical disabilities, a thing that kids are doing and for a specific purpose for someone. We have a couple more here. Partner with a local farm to learn how to build a composting system for your home. So we just replaced who it was for from this previous idea for your own home. Create a virtual exhibition about student experiences of social distancing for a local history museum. So we're just taking a thing, a skill, an activity, a product that kids could be doing, and also trying to attach for who it's for or for what purpose it is. So that's what we're going to hope that we can help guide you to as you're doing your ideation. But now we are going to move on into that actual process. So this is something we've never done before. We're trying it out online. Hopefully it works out, and hopefully we've got all the kinks figured out here. So here's how it's going to work. In a few moments, you all are going to break out into breakout rooms, probably of 5 people based on our numbers right now. And you're going to come up with 3 of your own project ideas. And this is going to last about 15 minutes. So I'm going to go through the details. We have text written details, but I think this is probably going to be better for a visual. So you're going to be getting an email from me in just a few moments with your breakout rooms hyperlinked. And if you did not accept the invitation to this Zoom call, or if you just got past the Zoom call to a friend, I'm going to put the document that's got all of the breakout rooms in the chat box. So when you get assigned to a breakout room, you're just going to click, if you're assigned to breakout room 1, you're just going to click breakout room 1 and then follow the directions from here. So Carrie, can you go to slide 13 for us? Okay, so once you get into a breakout room, these directions will be in the slide deck as well. But the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to claim a slide yourself, and you're going to write your name where it says write your name. And on the left hand, just like Julia did here as an example, and on the left hand side, then you're going to introduce yourselves to each other. You'll establish a facilitator. So the person with the earliest letter in the alphabet for their first name, we'll just call that person the facilitator. So introduce yourselves and try to establish the facilitator. Then once you've claimed your slides and everyone's ready and in the room ready to ideate, then each person will claim a slide, and in the left-hand column, the red Post-its, it says owners. Write up an idea for a project and for whom. So you will replace that text in that slide. So we should have noted at the beginning, if you're tuning in from a personal device, this may be a challenge for you. You may need to maybe write your ideas in a chat box or something like that. But if you don't have a computer or laptop available, I might just pause right now and go find one, because this is very interactive here, collaborative. So you replace those ideas with your own, and that's gonna be round 0. Then we're going to the facilitator, and we'll try to do 2 minutes for this. So facilitators, you'll need to try to set a timer for 2 minutes for everybody to come up with their own ideas. Then, after you do that, we're going to switch into the collaboration round. So round 1, for example, you'll move on to another person's slide. So it'll be easiest to just go down from where you were. You'll see everyone's slides, individual slides on the deck. And if you're on the bottom, you'll just recycle and go to the top. Then the facilitator will start another 2 minutes, and you will just simply choose a color and shape that's designated for you. And you will also throw on some ideas there within the same realm of that original person's idea. So for example, Julia's idea was students document their experience for a local history museum. So now, stemming from that, students create art from an online for an online art exhibition museum.
Can I jump in with something? I think we made one revision to the protocol where rather than timing 2-minute blocks, the facilitator is going to time the 15 minutes, and you can go to any slide. That's
right. Thank you. Yeah, it'll be the facilitator's discretion to get everyone's ideas out there. It'll be a little bit more free flowing. Thanks, Julia. And then you'll move on to the next, so that by the end of this 15 minutes, everybody's got their slide deck populated with ideas from everyone. So hopefully we walk away with every single person will have, let's do some quick math there, 15, 18 ideas per slide deck. So per 5 people, that's quite a lot of ideas. So facilitators, after 15 minutes, then you guys will come back and join us back in the main group. So everyone coming back, hopefully there was some time to get some ideas going. I've been snooping into some of the breakout rooms, and I noticed that some of these slide decks are getting pretty full. Maybe we might have needed more time. Again, this was kind of a new thing, but we wanted to give you guys time to come back to us too, and for us to build on this with some additional collaboration. So Adam, can you just let me know when you think that they think we've got everyone back? Well, I guess we'll know when the breakout rooms are shut, right, Carrie?
Yeah, we're at 15 participants now, so probably, yeah, but that timer should have gone off.
Okay. Okay, so everyone should be joining in right now back from the breakout rooms. Great to see that everyone was able to do this. Again, this is the first time we've done this, so I'm pretty proud that almost every breakout room was up and running, at least the ones that I was able to tune in on. Just know that, again, a reminder that this slide deck is going to be available to everyone at the end, and those breakout rooms are also going to be linked. One thing, actually, in one of the breakout rooms, got a great suggestion that if we could go back to, not right now, so keep those breakout rooms open because we're going to do more with them, but if people wouldn't mind, because we're going to have access to these at the end of this session, next to your name, if you could also put your grade level and maybe the subject you teach. There were some people requesting to know that detail about people, just so they could either collaborate in the future or if they could kind of peruse projects that would be applicable to what they teach. All right, so in the interest of time, we're going to go back to our central question. Remember, this was kind of the main thing that's going to ground us in our ideating here. How might we design equitable PBL experiences in which distance learning is a strength? So remember that there's kind of like 3 tiers to this essential question. We're looking for projects that harness distance learning as a strength. that offer the scope of PBL, kids doing things that are authentic and important in the real world, and equity, meeting kids where they are at. So those are kind of like the three big components of this essential question. So what we'd like you guys to do now is we're not going to leave in the breakout room. So we'd like you to go back to your breakout room slide deck. We'd like you to look at not just your ideas that were placed on your slide, but peruse the other participants' ideas and try to comment on ideas that hit one or maybe all of our essential question components: distance learning as a strength, PBL, or equity. So in case you're new to using Google Slides, the way that you comment is you need to be in this kind of editable format here, and you all can edit, you've done it already. And what you do is you simply double click a word, or you double click an entire, slide, and come on up here where this, next to the presentation button, it says open comment history, and you just click add comment here. And would love it if people could add some comments to their team's slide deck. So for example, this one, students create art for an online art museum exhibition. That feels to me like that is really using distance learning as a strength. So try to give a specific encouraging comment onto at least 3 of the ideas on there. We're kind of going to be running pretty close on time. So let's try to go for at least 3 ideas here, and we'll let you get started. Facilitators, was that everything we wanted to cover for that part? You could see my comment I did earlier as an example. This will really empower students to do something that matters. But we just kind of want to reiterate, earlier we said that we want diversity of ideas and collaboration. And this is going to be really positive and giving each other some feedback. So take a few moments to go back to your slide deck and add a couple comments.
Even when we're giving encouraging feedback, it's really helpful to be specific in what it is that you see that's valuable about an idea. And so, Chris, maybe if you could go back to the slide so everyone can look at it, the previous slide. These are the primary things that we're looking for. So calling out when you see distance learning as a strength, a strong project idea, or something that's really going to support equity.
All right, so give people a few minutes to do that. Let me get the music back going on here. What do you guys say to that? I don't have no effects queued up though, sorry. Somebody requested that earlier.
Guys, how do I get back into the breakout room?
Well, you don't need to go back to the breakout room. We're staying here.
Oh.
Just go back to the slide deck you were on.
Oh, alrighty.
Chris, can you model again how to do a comment?
Sure.
There's another way where you just click on, you can right click. Do you want to show that? And then down below, there's.
Okay. So again, on a slide, you can just control click or right click and scroll down to comment, or you can press Command Option M. And it'll come up there. You can type in whatever you want. And then once you comment there, that comment is highlighted in yellow. So when you're going back to read through the comments that were made, you can simply click on it and you can see which comment was attached to that. Sometimes when you get a long list of comments, you don't know what that's referring to.
There was also a question about, I know this is something that's new for a lot of people, and so 45 minutes is a really short amount of time to learn a new protocol, do it, and like learn some new skills. And so this is all available to you, and you can continue to collaborate with your team asynchronously and add on ideas and add comments if you're not able to figure it out in these couple minutes. You'll also have, you can reach out to any of the facilitators via email too if you have questions after the fact, and we'll be available to help out.
Okay, so it is almost 10:50. Shall we give more time, or do you guys think we should move on to our homework section here?
Let's move on to the homework just in case folks are going to the next session.
Okay.
And this is still available for people to work on afterwards too.
Great.
So is it okay if I share the prototyping part?
Yes.
Great. So the hope for the homework is that we move into that next phase of the ideation process, which is where we start to kind of test out some of these ideas. You'll remember after the 4,000 ideas were generated, they chose a few to kind of sketch out or prototype. And so what we mean by a prototype is just taking one of those posted ideas and expanding on it a little bit. You don't want to invest too much energy into it in the beginning, because you want to, like, the more energy you invest in the idea, the more attached you become to it. And you don't want to get too attached before you have a chance to get some feedback. So your job, your homework is to copy one of these slides and just grab a posted idea that you're really excited about and paste it onto one of these slides and add a little bit more information. So we suggest that you add a project title, an essential question, and how distance learning might be an advantage. But if there's other information that you have that you would rather include, you're welcome to include any information that makes sense for your project idea. So we intentionally have these little spaces where you can write about the project pretty small, because we don't want you to be putting too much into the project design before the feedback part. So by the end of the day, your mission is to choose 3 ideas from all of the ideas that were generated today, to put one on each of these papers, and we'll clear this off. We just chose 3 ideas to show you what it will look like, but we'll clear those off before we share them with you. And then fill out a little bit of that information. And then if you click back to the slide, by Wednesday, there should be a bunch of slides from all of the participants with all those ideas. So your job by Wednesday is to add in some comments about what you see that's really inspiring, or things where you see distance learning as a strength, where you see strong projects, and where you see equity really being tended to by the ideas. One of the things that's powerful about prototyping multiple ideas is that they've done some research around parallel prototyping, and have found that when you share 3 project ideas, or 3 ideas for a prototype rather than just one, it increases the quality of the feedback that you get, because it shows more of the range of what's possible to the people who are giving you feedback. And it also increases the capacity of the person who's receiving feedback to accept and apply that feedback, because it feels a little bit less personal to receive feedback on a body of work rather than on a single idea that you've invested everything in. So we're going to be practicing that here by modeling 3 quick ideas, or prototyping 3 quick ideas rather than just a single one. I'm going to have to say goodbye now, because I'm heading in to support and facilitate the next session, and I may see some of you there, and I'll leave you in the hands of our other 3 facilitators. It was great to work with you all today.
Thanks, Julia.
Yeah.
Okay, so to reiterate, you guys do have homework. Post 3 rapid prototypes, just again, too, and if you're new to Google Slides, to make a copy of this slide, because you all will have editing privileges here once this is over, you just need to control click or right click in the outline here and just click duplicate slide. And then you'll do just like we did in the other breakout rooms. You'll replace your name, you'll replace this text, and you'll add those. If you're also struggling with ideas, we wanted to point you in this direction as well, which is the project card gallery walk. So typically when we do these, we actually have lots of projects from high tech and other organizations that have submitted them to a publication called Unboxed. And you can follow this link, or Randy actually sent out the PDF that's got the archive of all these project cards, which are great inspiration. They have a really quick explanation of the project, teacher reflection, a student reflection, a link to all resources if that teacher's got them available. It's a great place to also get inspiration. So I would recommend checking that out too if you are struggling with your rapid prototyping, or if you're struggling with coming up with ideas. And then finally, we really hope that you guys can click and do this exit ticket. Again, this will be attached, and I'll email this out to everyone at the end of this slide deck. So I've already almost hyperlinked all of the breakout rooms back here where we started. So once you get this slide deck, if you open it up and scroll to the breakout room, you all now have access to the ideas that came about in each breakout room. So they're all linked there. You also got the email with all the links, so you could just go back in there too. But I'm going to resend, I'm going to send for the first time this whole workshop to you guys. If you did not get the email with the breakout rooms, please send me a private chat with your email so I can include you in the overall email to everyone else. And yeah, like Julia said, we've got other workshops going on in a few minutes. So we'll hang around until about 11 if people have questions or comments. But thank you everyone for participating. This was a brand new thing that we tried. We hope that it was successful. We hope that you come back to this though. I think time will tell over this week with all the ideas that get generated on here, how successful it is. So thanks again for tuning in. Yes.
Someone asked about what they should do with their slides. Is it my understanding that they're linked right here, that they can look at other people's slides?
Yes. So as soon as I share this with the whole group, I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. So I can do that. Once this goes out to the whole group, you will now have access to every slide deck. And technically you do. The email I sent, first email I sent, those were all linked to all the slide decks. So you could even just go back to that first email you received from me to get them. But I think you probably are going to prefer this main slide deck that we've been conducting this workshop from. So
and then I see some people saying they can't access the exit ticket. So I'm on that. Thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, please do that exit ticket. That would really help us out. Again, this is all new to us. We were really scratching our heads on how we do online collaboration. It's such a huge part of what we do at High Tech High, and coming up with ideas. Being in is a really big part of that. So appreciate you guys taking the plunge with us out. Hope that it's been helpful for you. We hope that it's something you can bring back to your colleagues. I've already tried this workshop out with a couple colleagues of mine in coming up with ideas, and they've enjoyed it. We've got some good projects out of that. So I hope this is helpful to everyone.
All right, so we changed the exit ticket settings, so our apologies, it should be good to go. And you can find the exit ticket link here in the chat box or in the main slide deck.
See.
Okay, and I'm composing the email to the main slide deck. I'm getting some messages. Just hold tight here. I'm trying to make sure everything is linked in the main slide deck. So I'm going to send a mass email out to everybody. But again, if you did not receive the first email during this session, just send me your email in the chat and I'll make sure that it gets to you as well. Yes, people are asking if you're struggling to finish the brainstorm initially. Yes, please go back and finish the brainstorm that you started. Obviously, we were limited on time because we have other workshops happening, but you are welcome to continue on your first breakout room and continue including ideas on there. Absolutely.
Hey, Chris, a quick question for you.
Yeah.
For the, I forgot what you called it, but the slide where we come up with it, we flush out our own 3 ideas.
Yes.
Where do you want those to go back into? Do you want them to go back in a master deck? Do you want them to go back in the deck that you did and we just label them with our names?
Yeah, so you don't need to do anything further with those other than just throw on more ideas, because now that I've completed this, now I've actually linked them all to the main deck. So if you go down, when you guys get this, and again, you're going to get it in just a few moments, if you go down to slide 11, you will have every breakout room linked. And so now you have access to everyone's slide.
I was asking a slightly different question. The slide that you have that we're supposed to fill out for homework,
yes.
Slide 24.
Yes.
Do you want us to copy that, create our own, and then where do you want us to leave it, our own copy in this deck?
Please leave your own copy in the deck. Just duplicate just the. You don't need to duplicate the whole deck. Just duplicate this slide.
Yep.
I just didn't want to give access yet because when everybody's on there, it'll bog down the whole thing. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm about to send this right now to everyone.
Thank you. Great job, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Let me actually get off sharing here. Okay, so I'm going to be composing this if there's more questions.
So Carrie, Chris, and I will be staying back. Feel free, it is 11 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay back. You're welcome to take a break. You're welcome to move on to another session.